Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Let's Talk podcast, the podcast where I talk everything that I want to talk about, from music to movies to TV to sometimes a bit of sport and literally whatever the hell I want to talk about. My name is Christian Doyle. I'm the lead guitar player in the progressive rock band SEVSONS. I am also the lead vocalist, sole member of alternative rock band Cross the Line. Thank you so much for listening again this week. If you are tuning in, I've been really enjoying doing this podcast over the last couple of months and really looking forward to what's coming up in the future. I've got some co-hosts coming up and all this really exciting stuff that's going to be really cool, maybe even adding some live acoustic kind of things into the podcast, and it's just ever growing, and the views keep racking up on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So thanks to everyone who's been listening in, subscribing, checking out the album reviews each week, and I really appreciate it. We're going to start off the week this week, as we do every other week, with talking about news in the world of my band SEVSONS. Not a lot has been going on this week. We are deep into recording for our debut album. It's going to be called Ad Infinitum. And we are currently tracking bass. We have finished rhythm guitars, we've finished drums. It is just bass and vocals left now, so it's going to be a really exciting time over the next couple of weeks, and something exciting actually happened to us today as I'm recording this podcast. I've been out all day at a festival called, I think it's Bring It On Festival. We entered a band comp. Now, we don't really enjoy band comps very much. We've never entered one before. We've all been in ones with our old bands before, and they're not really our thing. So entering in a band comp is something different for us. However, we actually won. So thank you to the judges who voted for us to win. I'm glad you liked the stuff we had. We got a 5-day recording package as a prize for winning that competition. So thanks to everyone who came out and watched us play and who let that happen. So it ended up being a pretty good day for us, and we're excited to have some free recording going into album number 2 next year. Now, on to music news and a few reviews this week. There hasn't been a lot going on in terms of albums. There's only one album review this week, but there have been quite a few singles released, some lineups, some album announcements, some festival cancellations. And speaking of festival cancellations, Hevy Fest in the UK have announced that they are cancelling the festival for this year, and it looks like Hevy Fest is dead forever. The lineup this year looked great. They had a band on there called Creeper, who I'm really pushing for this year. Their EP blew me away, and it's my number 2 release of the year so far. And they had Enter Shikari headlining, and just a great lineup full of some punk and hardcore bands. And it's really sad to see so many festivals going under. Over here in Australia, Soundwave was cancelled this year, and Big Day Out was cancelled a few years ago. There's just a whole bunch of festivals over here and overseas that are getting cancelled, and it's really not great to see. And people are always coming out, all these old rock legends saying rock is dead, and we've always had something to really shove in their face and go, yeah, eat that rock's not dead, fuck you. But with all these rock festivals being cancelled, it's just really sad to see, and people have just stopped supporting the artists that they love and the festivals that they love. If you want these things to be around, you have to fund them. You have to pay for your ticket. You have to pay for your album. You have to pay for every song that you download illegally off the internet. You need to do that to support these bands and these festivals. Otherwise, they're not going to stick around. And we've seen so many bands break up just due to funds. We've seen members leave bands for the same thing. And then festivals going under left, right, and center. It's just really a depressing thing to see when it happens. And I hope with some of these major festivals getting cancelled, people are going to open their wallets a bit more and give to the scene and allow it to keep thriving, because the music that is coming out is amazing. This year's been one of the best years for new releases in many, many years, and it's only not even halfway through the year. So hopefully no more festivals have to get cancelled. Hopefully people have now realised what the situation is and will open their wallets to fund that. Up next, Relient K have announced their new album. It's going to be called Air for Free. It's going to be out on July 22nd. And along with that, they released a new single called Bummin'. There was no video along with the song. It just came along for instant download when you pre-ordered the album. Now, Relient K are an interesting band to me. I've loved everything they've put out up until the last album. They were one of my favorite bands in the world for a very, very long time. Albums like and especially Forget and Not Slow Down, they just keep getting better and better with each album. And then a couple of years ago, they released an album called Collapsible Lung. It was very pop driven, very childish lyrics, kind of going away from everything that they had built up over the last 10, 15 years that they've been a band. And it really drove me away from that band, and I haven't been interested in them since they released that album. And then, having said that, they released this new track called Bummin', and it's really cool. It feels like a natural progression from what they did on Forget and Not Slow Down. So I feel like this album is really going to be Forget and Not Slow Down's predecessor. I think Collapsible Lung is going to disappear. I think they're going to try and ignore that album came out because it didn't get a great reception. So I think this new album, Air for Free, is going to really bring their core fans back. They lost literally more than half the band after releasing Collapsible Lung. There's only 2 of the guys left. So hopefully this album's going to be great. From the first track, Bummin', I really enjoyed it. It is more pop driven, but it's got that feel of band in a room. It's produced by the guy who did Forget and Not Slow Down, who does an amazing job capturing that kind of thing, having real sounding drums and having little bits that aren't perfect, but they don't need to be perfect. So I'm really looking forward to this album, and I feel like it's going to be pretty good. Stray from the Path have released a new single called Talking Tragedy. It was released as a single to benefit the Ghost Inside. The support that's been thrown behind the Ghost Inside has been really inspiring to me. It shows that bands in this scene really do care about each other and really want each other to succeed, and not even to succeed when horrible tragedies happen to these bands. The scene is willing to get behind them and help them get back on their feet. And the support from the Ghost Inside, I think, not only reflects how well liked they are by the scene, personality wise, but also an impact that they have on their fans. And it's been really great to see all that support and all these bands coming out with songs and benefits and all this kind of thing to really back that band up. And this song, Talking Tragedy, is brilliant. I've never been a huge Stray from the Path fan. I've just never really gotten into them. I saw them a couple of years ago supporting Amity Affliction, Issues, and Architects. Let's fuck off Amity Affliction, okay? They are one of the worst bands in the world. But Stray from the Path, it was the first time I'd ever been exposed to them. I automatically went straight to what everybody says is it's a bit Rage Against the Machine, and it is. This song, however, I think is a bit stepping away from that. It's really, really cool, and I really love the lyrics in it. It's the vocalist is always going to have that comparison drawn to him and the singer of Rage Against the Machine. So lyrically, I think it's great. It really shows that message of picking each other back up and carrying on, and the music behind it is really in your face and great and really punches you in the face for a good 3 minutes. So it's a really great song, and you should definitely check it out. Andy Black has released a new track off his upcoming album, The Shadow Side. It is called Ribcage. He didn't release it as a single, just unlocked it for people who had pre-ordered the album and was streaming it online. And I've been a pretty decent fan of his solo stuff so far. I loved They Don't Need to Understand that he released a couple of years ago. If you've been listening to the show, you know I've reviewed We Don't Have to Dance and Stay Alive with Matt Skiba, and I thought both those songs are really decent. Nothing groundbreaking, but really entertaining to listen to. And Ribcage is not really. It's definitely the worst thing he's released in years. Just what I liked about the other songs he's released is they were poppy, but they had that band element to them that really grounded it and made it different to everything else. And now this song's just pure pop. It's all electronic, and that's like, I don't want to sound like I'm just knocking electronic music here. It's just, it's not really the style of music that he'd portrayed so far. And it's something I didn't expect. In the track listing of the album, it's in between We Don't Have to Dance and Stay Alive. And it feels like it just isn't going to flow. It has a completely different feel from everything else he's released so far. And I think if there's more songs like that on the album, it's just going to take away from the sound that the sound that I thought he was going for and the sound that he seemed to be saying he was going for. It just seems like a random track that really doesn't flow with everything else we've heard so far. So not a great song. The vocally, you know, vocally, geez. I just remembered the main line of the chorus and it's just bad. Release me from the cage of my ribcage. Really? That's the best thing you could come up with? It's just... how did he write that? And John Feldman go, that's a good line. That should be the main line of your entire song. Repeat that throughout the entire song. It's the same as the Bring Me the Horizon song, True Friends. True friends stab you in the front. Like, really? That's your line to sell the song? So just thinking about that line now just brings the whole song down again for me. So not a great song. Hopefully the rest of the album is going to be great, like We Don't Have to Dance and Stay Alive. So yeah, there's that. Architects this week released a new song titled Gone with the Wind. It is the second single from their upcoming album, All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us. It's coming out next month. It's going to be incredible, especially going off this song. They released a video alongside of it, which is breathtaking to watch and really, really inventive and entertaining. And the song itself is great. I can really hear some experimentation going on in this song. They use a lot of softer sections, and they allow Sam to do some really melodic singing sections, especially when the whole band drops out and he's just got this one melodic vocal part that is really, it captures you straight away. And his lyrics as well, they always grab you. And I've heard some people say that they don't love his lyrics, which I don't really understand. I feel like they're lyrics that everybody can really connect to. He really focuses on what's going on in the world at the moment and how screwed up society is at the moment, you know, with stuff like Sea Shepherd, him being a major supporter of Sea Shepherd and Me Too, and just all these like real world issues that he's constantly singing about and spreading to the masses. This song is no different. It's great lyrically and it's great vocally. The music is a lot more inventive than the last single, A Match Made in Heaven. And that's not a knock against A Match Made in Heaven, because instrumentally that song is brilliant as well. This one just like notches it up just a little bit more. And yeah, it's just a great song. I'm really excited for this album. I feel like it's going to be my album of the year, and I haven't even heard it yet. And that's with Issues releasing an album this year. So really, really go check out that song on YouTube, support it, buy the song, and pre-order the album, because it's going to be a good one. album reviews for this week. We have the debut album from pop punk band Rarity. They have released their new album, I Couldn't Be Weaker, via Rise Records. And I wasn't going to review any albums this week. There was nothing that really interested me. I thought about doing the Black Audio record, but I listened to a couple of songs and couldn't really get into it, so I kind of ditched that plan. But then I saw everybody raving about this new Rarity album from the stream that had come out, and so I thought I should definitely check it out, because I'm not a huge fan of the new school pop punk, and I wish it would go back to how it was back when Fall Out Boy started and Blink, and even when All Time Low started and all that kind of stuff, and just have really poppy songs, but they've got that punk element, which has been completely taken out of pop punk these days, really making the punk part of that genre completely gone. So I was, after hearing, the positive word of mouth for this album, I was really excited to check it out, and I don't share people's opinion. I don't. They sound vocally and sonically like they're trying to be all these other bands, like The Story So Far and State Champs and all this kind of stuff. As well as that's incredibly formulaic. They try and do different things here and there, which actually work in a negative way. I think if they'd done a formulaic pop punk album, I'd be giving it a better score, to be honest. And there's very little originality in the album, and it's just got some really sloppy and questionable songwriting. They do these weird time signature changes in the middle of their verses, which take all the flow out of the song, just sends the song to a complete halt, and I find that really jarring. It made me enjoy the songs less and less as they went on. The songs in the album that are just the classic 4/4 pop punk songs are definitely the best in this album. There are good songs on this album. You just have to get through the crap first, which is really unfortunate. As well as that, there's some weird production choices going on. There's a section in the first song where this clean guitar just suddenly comes in and is way too loud. You can't hear anything else underneath it, and the band is still playing. And it takes a couple of seconds for that guitar to fade out and you can start hearing the song again. Just little things like that if you'd paid a bit more attention to, maybe the album would have come out a little bit better. The best songs, as I said before, are definitely the ones that stick to the pop punk formula. Because there are good songs, but overall the album is just really incredibly formulaic, all the way down to the track listing as well. When I saw that it was the second last track coming up, I knew exactly what it was going to be, and I was exactly right. It's an acoustic song, because ever since Time of Your Life came out by Green Day, every single pop punk album has to have their acoustic song. And it's another crappy one, if I'm honest. Nothing special about it, nothing moving about it. The lyrics are childish and stupid, and the melody is not catchy at all. And I don't know why they've tried to copy bands like The Story So Far and State Champs on this album, all the way down to the way they've mixed his voice and the guitar tone and the drum sound. It's all just predictable, and it's really unfortunate. So I'm going to name my top 3 tracks now. They are good songs. They're not going to be my top songs of the year, but they are good songs. They're Orchard, Absent, and Passenger. They are good songs. If you're going to check out the band, check out those 3 songs. If you really enjoy them, then go and check out the rest of the album. But they're streaming the entire album on YouTube. Just go through, listen to those 3 tracks, and if you find yourself loving them, then you may like the rest of the album. I just wanted something a bit more original, a bit more interesting to listen to, and I didn't really get it. All right, so in movies this week, there's been quite a bit going on, to be honest. So, Spider-Man. CinemaCon was on this week, and Spider-Man, the solo film, was announced. Sorry. The solo film's been announced for a while. Sorry. The title was announced this week. And the title is going to be Spiderman Homecoming. The logo that comes up is great. I'm going to put it in this video now. Very old school Spider-Man. So you don't really get much of what the movie is going to be about from the title. They said it's going to be about him really trying to find his place in the world. I really hope we're not going to see more Uncle Ben deaths and all this kind of stuff. I just want a new story from Spider-Man. So I think we're going to get that. I'm really interested to see who the villain is going to be. But yeah, they said this album is going to be very much him trying to find himself and find what his purpose is on the planet. And after hearing about how great he is in Captain America Civil War, I'm really excited for this film. I think it'll be great. And yeah, so that's really all I have to talk about that, because really it's just a title. Warner Brothers, this week they finally announced the solo Batman film with Ben Affleck. They didn't really talk about whether Affleck's going to be directing. I really hope he is, because he's a brilliant director, one of the best out there today. But it's just great to hear that they are actually making this solo Batman film. I think it's a no-brainer. He was the best thing in Batman v Superman by a long, long way. And yeah, so I'm really excited to see what goes on with that film. It's going to be coming out, I think they said 2019, maybe 2020. But I'm really excited to see it. Really hope that Ben Affleck is going to be directing. And yeah, so it's just been a bit of a slow week in movies this week. Not much coming out. So talking about things being announced and titles of movies is really all we've got this week. Other than Suicide Squad released their third trailer this week. They released it during the MTV Movie Awards, which is the biggest joke of a awards show I've ever seen in my life. Star Wars winning Best Picture? Really? I mean, it was my favorite movie of last year. It doesn't mean it should be Best Picture. The Best Picture winner this year at the Oscars was Spotlight, and it deserved it because it was the best picture that year. It doesn't mean it was the one I enjoyed the most, but it was the best picture. And Star Wars, even though it was the film I enjoyed the most last year, it's not Best Picture. It's nowhere close to Best Picture. That's not to say the movie's bad. It's to say that it isn't that kind of film. To see it would have been good to see it nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Just for hey, here's fucking Star Wars, man. This shit's back. But as for filmmaking story film, it's not the best picture of the year. So it winning that, I understand that it's fan voted, but I think it's just a bit of they're not going to give a shit that they won that. However, Suicide Squad, going completely off topic. So Suicide Squad released a new trailer. Looks great. They've not made the same mistake they did with Batman v Superman by showing everything that's going to happen in this film in the trailer. They've been great at just teasing images. They've all really been teasers. We haven't really gotten any story. We don't know who the villain is. We know that the Joker's going to be in there, but we don't know if he's the main villain. We have no idea who the main villain's going to be. So I find that really exciting. The trailer overall looks great, has a lot of great humor in it, but it still has that darker tone. Margot Robbie looks incredible as Harley Quinn. Jared Leto, I hope, is going to be great as the Joker. I think he looks promising. And yeah, Will Smith looks great as well. Jai Courtney looks great, which is really odd because he's a shit actor. But yeah, overall, I really loved the imagery in the trailer. I think it's going to be a great film. I hope I'm not disappointed like I was with Batman v Superman. So we'll wait till August and we'll see. All right, thanks for listening this week, guys. It's been another fun episode. Sorry if I seem a bit tired this week. Last night we had my dad's 50th actually, and we had a few live bands go, and I was doing sound all night while drinking excessively, so I'm a bit hungover, a bit tired. But this week, the track that I'm going to play from you is the track I'm going to play for you, rather, is from the band that headlined at my dad's 50th last night. They're called The Modern Glitch. Got some real Wombats vibes going on. They're a really great live band. This song is called Me and You. I've been Christian Doyle. Thanks for listening. Fresh Currents.
outside, the weather's nice, you're on my mind.